Death! Death! Let's hear it for death.
Oh, this is a show that we made for you, for your mom and your dad and your aunties too. So grab yourself a coffee, it's a crack of dawn, and strap yourself in for a Hits Good morning.
It's another Heaps Good Sunday morning, and yet again we're here to delight and entertain.
And today we're actually going to inform.
Yeah.
Like inform about stuff that's not about us.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit about us because we're vapid narcissists. But, you know, as long as you admit it. I'm just like molting. Don't mind me, just covered in hair and pocky and...
She's getting old. Starting to all fall out.
I can't wait till it all falls out.
Yeah. Let's
On
make
my
them. That'll be
toes.
awesome. Oh, yeah.
I'm just kidding. Know anybody that died?
A couple. A few. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about that this week, aren't we?
We're not going to be talking about people that died. I mean, we can, if you want. I mean, lots of people die. Everybody dies.
Yeah.
Actually, legit, everything dies. It is actually a huge part of the life cycle.
Well, there is that one monk that's in Tibet or whatever that I reckon might still be alive.
Don't be throwing that bullshit at me.
Okay, cool.
Alright? I feel like I'm death positive.
Yeah.
Death positive. I think that as in our culture, especially because it's like mainly Christian based, I feel like we have a really unhealthy relationship with death.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think that we are bringing our children up, not mine, I'm going on kids, but I think we're bringing our children up to be scared of death. I mean, look, stranger danger, that's smart.
Yeah.
You know, making wise decisions when it comes to your lifestyle, that's just common sense. I mean, you want to get as much out of life as you can.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that our culture, well, I have a lot of different cultures, but I think that white culture,
Yeah.
for lack of a better umbrella.
Western culture?
Western culture, yeah. But, I mean, you look at all the countries that are considered westernized now. A, they're not all in the West. In the West of what? The globe is round. But also, they're all becoming multicultural. It's a lot easier to move to foreign countries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, what you would consider westernized culture, England, America, Australia, Canada,
New Zealand, all those sister countries.
New Zealand. Yeah, I always forget about New Zealand. Not that I forget about New Zealand because I fucking love it there. But,
You can go on there next year.
are you?
Yeah.
When?
February.
Oh, really? I'm going to Tasmania in February. We need to
Oh,
sync
really?
up our calendars.
We're going to have
So
to.
I was going to ask you to house sit.
Okay.
So, anyway, I think that we have got it all wrong. And by we, I don't mean my Indian heritage, Native American, terribly sorry. But I mean my white English
Yeah.
background heritage, which actually isn't a lot of English, but anyways. I think we got it wrong. You look at what we do to bodies once they die, right?
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about alternatives, trying to change your thinking on death, because it's not all bad, really. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's not. As you said, it happens to us all.
It happens to everything. I mean, rocks don't die, I guess. Every living thing, entity that has life of some sort dies. That's kind of the basic thing about living, is it ends.
Yeah.
You die. And you and I are both big fans of Rumi.
Yep. We both had a Rumi poem at our weddings.
No, we're so mo. Oh, love, you know. But, you know, I think we're approaching it all wrong. Because really, when you think about it, some of the biggest questions in your life, essentially, and I don't really want to know the meaning of life. You know, people are always like, what is the meaning of life? I think the meaning of life is to live a fulfilled and enlightened life and to never stop growing. I think that is the meaning of life.
Yeah, if you look into it too much, I think you can get really bogged down with what the meaning of actual life is. I don't think there is. I'm saying I don't think there is a meaning.
No.
We're here and we've got to make the best of it.
We're queer, get used to it. Oh, okay. Sorry, wrong thing. Wrong show. Just jokes. So I wanted to be, well, actually we just found out that both of us wanted to be morticians. Yeah. I can't touch dead things.
Yep.
At all, as you know. Because of my witchy poo, my ability to be an empath and my that stuff, I think that might have something to do with it, but like I physically cannot, and I've tried to overcome this. Like I've had a little kitten die or whatever. Well, a housemate had a kitten die. I would never let a kitten die, but I just can't do it. And I've had hair clients die in the past and have been very sick and asked me to do their hair post-mortem, and it took a lot of Valium and other things. But that was a long time ago. So, and I don't know. I think I welcome, it sounds really morbid, I welcome death, but it only sounds morbid if you have that unhealthy view of death. I always say things like, if I died tomorrow, I'd feel like I've grown a lot as a person and had a lot of experiences, and I wouldn't feel gypped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's easy for me to say that because I don't have kids. Like, you would probably feel like you've missed out on a lot, you know?
I see, for me, because my first 17 years of my life was nothing but Christianity. So I felt like I missed out on that first part of my life anyway, and I was always trying to catch up.
Yeah, because that's a fear-based worship, isn't it?
Well, and the thing is, I also growing up believing in a God, I believed, we die to go to a better place, blah blah blah. I came away from that, and I'm now an atheist, and I believe that I believe we go in a hole in the ground and
science happens.
Yeah. So for me, coming to grasps with that when I was a young adult was
confronting.
It was very confronting.
Yeah, it's growing up in the deep South, and there being a lot of just kind of institutionalized religious stuff, religious guilt. Being a ethical hedonist. Being, not so ethical when I was younger, but ethical nowadays.
Yeah.
Being a raging free love kind of mo, but lots of research on both sides of the fence for that one. But my household was different. So on my dad's side of the family, there's Pentecosts, and they're Shakers, and some Baptist. And on my mom's side of the family, they're very makeup, very Catholic.
Yeah.
But also you've got that whole thing growing up with my mom, who was right into Wicca and histories of religion, and then you've got going into my art studies, which most periods in art coincide with
religious.
Yeah. And I just started, instead of just kind of bumbling through life being like, oh, other religions are weird, blah 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 blah. My dad was really into karate. And with that comes a certain bit of respect for Asian religions and stuff.
Yeah, I was actually speaking, because I did some kung fu when I was younger, and I was and I spoke to Ali about this a couple of days ago, and I was saying, there's certain things that you do, like you bow to your dojo and stuff like that, and about energies and
father. So I really loved going to the dojo because my dad was one of the master black belts there. So I had to bow when my father entered the building. Those of you that know me know that kind of thing didn't blow over so well. So I didn't last long.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the structure of karate. I appreciate the structure of ballet. I like structure. Hard to believe, I know. I like uniforms. I like structure. I like things being black and white. I know what I can do. I know what I know what's expected of me. There's no wiggle room. That makes it easy for me to be like, right, well, if I do this, my shit gets done.
Yeah.
So I like the structure of karate. But did you find that while you were, in going to kung fu classes and hanging out at the dojo and stuff, you started looking into like Buddhism and Taoism and stuff like that?
And I started drinking a lot of green tea.
Yeah. Man, there's nothing more miserable than a bitter, too strong green tea, hey?
Yeah.
But, so my parents are actually pretty good because my mom you know, comes from a long line of people that I just feel like something's wrong. I'll call, you know, but shrouded in that Catholic guilt, which is really all that Catholicism's about.
Yeah.
And then Dad coming from backwoods, redneck, Pentecostal, like, anyway. So yeah, I'm a little bit different from that side of the family. But it's cool as we get older, like they're getting a bit more evolved. So I just wanted to learn. I wanted to learn about different religions. I joined a Presbyterian church when I was in junior high school with a friend of mine. Met the first domestic abuser I'd ever known at that church. He punched his girlfriend in the stomach, and he was the preacher's son. But anyways, I'm sure you're all shocked, right? Well, anyway, we're waffling. So, long story short, I'm not scared to die. Have you ever almost died?
Look, I was in a gang when I was younger. Very quick story.
Street gang?
Yeah.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
It's bugging me.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Anyway, sorry.
We decided we were going to destroy a car. The owners of the car came over and I had a gun held to my head, but it was for like
In Australia?
In Australia. It was like
Far out.
4 to 5 seconds, but I did fear for my life. But that was pretty well the only time I can think of where I came close to death, I guess.
My I almost died here in Australia at Movie World, Dream World, something like that.
Oh, Dream World, the one with all the problems.
Movie World, I think it was actually Movie World. Years and years, you know, 12 years ago, my first holiday inside Australia, we went to the Gold Coast and went to Movie World. And I went, my ex, my partner at the time, didn't ride roller coasters. I was a roller coaster enthusiast.
Yep.
Got on the Lethal Weapon roller coaster. Started going up the first incline, and my lap restraint
Is that
released.
is that the one that dangles your feet underneath you?
You know what, to be honest, I don't remember.
I think nowadays, it's the Arkham Asylum or something like that, because they've changed names. But
Oh, really? Well,
yeah.
I think they ended up shutting down the Lethal Weapon because I think they had problem. Lethal Weapon, irony. But yeah, and I couldn't get it to latch, and it just kept popping up. And the only other thing I had on was like one of those little shitty lap belt things.
Yep.
Didn't even go between the legs or anything. But and it was like the roller coaster went upside down.
Yep.
So I thought for sure this is how I'm going to die, and I was like, of course, on a roller coaster, this is how I'm going to die. But I figured out that if I pulled on it twice, it would latch.
Yeah.
But if I pulled it in again, it would unlatch. So I just like pushed on it the whole time. So it was really fucking terrifying, and I thought I was going to die. And at that point, I realized I had to make some changes. I wasn't
How much you love life.
I wasn't happy in the situation I was in.
Yep.
And also, I kind of started having this like weird zen moment that, you know, if I could just fix this one situation, I've traveled and I've learned heaps, and I guess I'm happy with that. But that being said, the idea of being pumped full of embalming fluid doesn't work for me.
No, me either.
How do you want to be buried? Or how do you want to end your existence?
Well, I know I would like to. There's a company that's called something like All Natural Funerals. I can't remember their exact name, otherwise I'll give them a plug. But they do things like they do woven caskets and stuff, or they do the paper, cardboard inserts that they put into things, and they do it as cheap and earth friendly as possible. So they try to use recycled materials and stuff like that. I want to be cremated. I like the idea of my ashes being used in the dirt of a tree and being grown as a tree.
Well, let me just tell you, there are so many other options, friend.
You said there's so many just within Western culture.
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 Well, I mean, there's so many other options, period. Of course, they're not all available everywhere, but I found like over 20 different options of different ways, you know, other than being embalmed.
Yeah.
And they range all the way from like home burials, which you can't really do within city limits in most countries.
Yeah.
But, you know, out in the country, people have, you know, in big expansive places, people have like family plots.
Yeah.
But, like I said, there's like over 20. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to go through a few, and you can do all kinds of research. A good place to start is Caitlin Doty. She's Ask a Mortician on YouTube. I teeter on like fanatic, like fangirl about this woman. She is intelligent and woke as fuck and just a cool, all around cool chick. And she has an organization and a funeral business in California called the Order of the Good Death. She's also written books. I mean, I wrote it down. Smoke Gets in Your Eye and From Here to Eternity are her 2 books that are out at the moment. But she offers all kinds of things. But like, so, oh shit, So, I don't even know where to start. So, of course you've heard of like cryogenics. There's a company you can pay to shoot your ashes into space. Or if you want to pay really big bucks, you can take your whole cadaver. You know, there's a company that offers an eternal reef burial. So they take your ashes and compress it into a synthetic piece of coral and sink it to try to replenish the coral reef.
That's cool.
There's tree planting and tree burial. So in the Philippines, they do a thing called a tree burial where you're basically put in a hollowed out part of a tree or you're tied to a tree. And then tree planting is what you were talking about, where they take your remains. Now, there's a couple of different options of that. There's one where they do this big, huge sack thing, and it's
and
a
they
whole...
put you in there. Yeah.
And then there's one where they take your ashes, which, other than like nitrates, like other than nitrogen, I can't really see a huge benefit to putting ashes. But I mean, it's fun, cool. You know what I'm saying? You can do dissolution, which is chemically dissolved, like, you know, Sleep with the Fishes kind of like big barrel thing. You can do promession, which is you are turned into fertilizer, which I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
You have resumation, which is like an alkaline process with water and alkaline that dissolves you. You can do aquamation, where they basically they put your body under running water. It just speeds up the natural process.
See, I've also heard of people being cremated and then having their ashes turned into diamonds as well.
Yep. Memorial diamonds. There's lots of companies that do that.
Yep.
There's sea burials for sailors and stuff like that. You can do that. I don't know what the logistics are on that, because you're not even really supposed to spread ashes anymore. But they even, like, a lot of cultures, and even on the east coast of the States, they used to hang coffins on cliffs. So the salt erosion and stuff like that on the side, like on the sea wall or whatever. Plastination, which mummification is actually in the plastination category because you're suspended in a fluid to. But so there's companies you can be mummified. Plastination is like that guy that does the living body. You know, it's like a museum meets science. It's like a art meets science thing.
Oh, okay.
Where they basically, it's like embalming, but they pump a plasticine through.
Oh, okay.
But then you have some really bizarre ones like, memorial diamonds are getting more popular, which I wanted to do with some ashes that I have. But you can be turned into, all of them start with cremation, a lot of the really far out there ones.
Yeah.
But you can be turned into the ink insert that goes into a 3D printer. And 3D printer artists make the program so like your loved ones can print you. You can be put in a tattoo. You can be, they'll take your ashes and send to these artists, and they make pigments, paint pigments, and they do portraits.
That's cool. I like that.
You can be turned into a firework. There's even a company I just found out recently that, and I found this out a few months ago, I guess, you know, when everything was going on with everybody dropping like flies in my life. Literally and metaphorically. Anyway, you can be pressed into a vinyl.
I have heard about that.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Considering I'm a musician and everything as well, I thought that could also be another option. Have my music put onto the vinyl that is me.
Yeah.
I thought that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what the logistics are on that. I didn't. There's heaps of. I'll send you the information. I'll make a whole list of the companies that do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Just if you got some ashes laying around. I know that sounds weird, but I actually do have 2 dogs, a grandmother, a high school friend. I've got ashes. which is weird. And then you have exposure, which some people call that sky burial.
Sky burial, or I also did get called in excarnation.
I didn't find that anywhere.
Well, I found it in my research. The sky burial also
It's
called
20 minutes of
excarnation.
research you did this morning.
Yeah. You
But
did the same,
anyway,
didn't you?
excuse me, a lot of this I already knew because I'm on it. But yeah, there's just all kinds of stuff. And then, of course, you have your basic natural burials. You can be wrapped in a shroud. And that Order of the Good Death, funeral parlor and organization, funeral home, I think she prefers it to be called. Anyways, if you're not in California or something like that, you can contact them and they'll be more than happy to give you information and stuff like that. I know there's like a Scandinavian company that does the woven burial casket type things, for lack of a better word, burial basket. But I think they were still like $1,200 or something like that. But yeah, mark this down, people. Take anything you can from my body. Not a lot of it works well, but if they can figure out a way to do something with fat, I'm your girl. Take it all. Take it all. I've been trying to con friends into taking my skin and making lamps and stuff out of it because of my tattoos.
Ooh.
I don't know if anybody will. But anyways, if you can do it, take everything you can and then just either throw me out to pasture and let me be worm food, or burn me up in the most ethical way you possibly can once you're sure everything that can be used is taken.
See, I wanted to give my body to science, but then I found
Yeah, that's the
out...
other one, body donation.
I found out that apparently you then don't get anything to bury for 2 to 5 years or something like that.
Why do you want something to bury?
I don't want something to bury. But as far as I'm concerned, funerals are for those that are left behind.
Grief is hands down the most selfish emotion, because and I felt really lucky when my grandfather passed away, because it was the first time in my life that I had the conscious thought process. I was happy that he was gone, like he was not suffering anymore.
Yeah.
Is it Walt Disney cryogenically frozen?
There is a rumor that he's... some say that he was cryogenically frozen. Others say his head was, and it's underneath the statue of him at Disney World or something like that.
How would they keep it refrigerated?
It's a load of crap. The family has come forward and said it's a load of crap. That doesn't mean, of course, that it couldn't possibly be and they're keeping it under wraps, but... so I've also been looking into a couple of other things surrounding death, not just...
Oh, that was a good one.
That was a good one. I could almost feel it in my neck. So I looked into a couple of things surrounding death. In Indonesia, they have the ceremony of cleaning corpses, where it's in the Toraja tribe of South Sulawesi. They dig up.
Well done.
Oh, I gave it a good crack. Yeah. They dig up their corpses, and then they wash them, groom them, and make over the damaged caskets and stuff. Then they drag the corpses from that location. Back to the
by
center.
Its hair.
I don't know. They just said drag back to the center of town, where they give it a new coffin.
Oh, that's kind.
Yeah, but they have to go in a straight line. The path has to be direct to the town. There can't be any turns or anything. They've got to go straight to the town.
Because they'll roll off. Yeah, you were saying that, and I couldn't remember if it was in China. God, I watched a whole special on it. But the dead loved ones, the deceased, they are kept in the house. Like, maybe not China, because I've got heaps of... Because China does the Hungry Ghost Festival. They do the Tomb Sweeping Day, which there's a Mandarin word for that, but I can't say it, so...
You can't Mandarin?
I can't Mandarin. I can't even Cantonese, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, China's varied. There's all kinds of different cultural approaches to it. But it is in Asia, somewhere, because it's a tiny place, where they regularly bathe them and they keep them as fixtures in the household.
Yeah, to me that's...
But how... You know, we're taught, because we have a fear-based approach when it comes to death, that, you know, the minute a body dies... It'll start stinking, it bloats, it leaks. If it's hot outside, they do decompose quicker. We found that out.
Without going too much into detail, my auntie died a few years ago, and she left her her, what do they call them? The heat blanket.
Oh, gross! Really?
She left her electric blanket on, and she was 24, 48 hours, and they said she was starting to turn to slush.
Yeah, you break right down,
So,
and it actually the process happens. It's delayed for I think 3 days or something, regular mild weather, but the that ABC iView app.
Yep.
Cream Puff told me about a show it's called Fucking Adelaide.
I have just started watching iView, so I might watch that.
Oh god, it's so great! It's only like 6 episodes or something.
Yep.
It's got the chick on it from Wentworth. Freak.
Okay. I haven't seen Wentworth. So.
You're not friends with me anymore. But anyway, yeah. Actually, I don't want to go into that.
Okay.
Stop, freeze. Not talking about that anymore.
Alright, cool.
But there's a thing about fluids.
Oh, okay.
Death fluids.
Yeah. Also in Papua New Guinea, or it says Papua.
We think they may have changed. I don't know.
But this is from my research. It said Papua in Indonesia. They have. Okay, so what they do is the Dani people of Papua mourn their loved ones passing by coating their faces with mud and ash, and then they do a ceremony where they cut off a portion of their finger to signify their loss. Part of me gets it, but I don't know. I need my digits for playing guitar. So
does it have to be a specific finger?
It didn't say anything about a specific finger.
I mean, that's better than wearing black for 5 years.
There was a
You know?
There was a picture of people that had multiple cut-offs, so that
I've
obviously
lost a lot of people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have very many fingers left. Let's be honest. That sounds barbaric.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could cut off a piece of me. Anyway, I know I can't cut off a piece of me, and we won't go into how I know that.
Okay.
I can file my tooth with an emery board though when I've broken a tooth.
I've done that.
My fingernail. I mean, doing embroidery.
I've done that before because I'm just like, there's a bit of tooth there, and I'll just shave it off.
Yeah, it feels weird, but it's not a big deal.
No.
What else you got?
That was it, because the other one we talked about, which was a sky burial.
Yeah. Well, of course you have Day of the Dead in Mexico.
Yep.
Where you go and some people will dress as a skeletonized version of their loved one, if their loved one was a nurse or something like that, and they go and they have these big picnics set up and once the sun is set in the cemeteries and stuff like that. And then you've got so that's in Mexico. I wrote some down. In Cambodia they've got Puchum Ben Puchum. How do you do so many consonants together?
I don't know.
That's why I can't Cantonese and I can't Mandarin. But I think it's Puchum Bin, where they have these big giant feasts and there's photos of people that have passed away, and they stuff these pagodas full of like food and I mean like regular gazebo sized pagodas, not little ones. In Nepal they have the Festival of Cows, so it's where because in Nepal a lot of them are Hindu and cows are sacred.
Yep, makes sense now. I was wondering about that.
So that a person, and it lasts for 8 days. So say someone in our family passed away. So like the patriarch or matriarch of that family that had lost someone would lead a string of cows through the town square, and they do all of the beautiful stuff that the Hindu celebrations lend to, the Festival of Lights, Diwali and stuff like that. So the Festival of Color, like they just have so many great, beautiful, like visually stimulating festivals. But yeah, that's one of them. Festival of Cows, because cows are sacred, and so they shuttle them on their way, and they're there to support you while you're mourning.
Yeah.
I can't remember the country that it's in, but where they parade them through the streets. The deceased. What? Well, in India, I know that they make a big spectacle of taking them to the river.
Yeah.
Insert name of river here, because I've gone totally blank. The Ganges.
Yep.
So, because that's where they do the pyre and all that stuff. It's where they deal with the deceased.
It's pretty dirty there, isn't
Ganges
it?
is filthy.
Yeah.
But there's the keepers of the deceased, and like you can't go there. So there's like small parades and the people carry on.
Yeah.
New Orleans, they have the dirge and They play the music and
the what do they call it? The last line?
first line.
The first line, is it?
Well, no, but yeah, but no.
Because
Anyways,
I've
we
looked
won't
up,
get into that.
Because I looked up things and it's kind of sometimes they call it the first line, the second line, the last line.
That's in reference to where the band is. First line, second line.
Alright, okay.
But yeah, they have the this first line to the cemetery and they play the funeral dirges and jazz versions of a dirge. It's really hard to find recordings of a good proper dirge. But anyways, just if you have one, flick it to me. I like them. I like creepy stuff. I love the creepy stuff. But anyway, educate yourself. Decide how you want to go. Don't make your I thought it was really peculiar that my grandmother was cremated and didn't have a service or anything. But then my grandfather was buried. It was I guess, not that you have to do the same thing as your wife or husband.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I think my dad wants to be, I believe, buried, where my mum wants to be cremated. So they have a...
Please don't put me in a box. Please don't pump me full of embalming fluid and put some horrible outfit on me and put me in some satin-lined box that's airtight. Just let nature take its course. You know my God is Gaia. You know I love the planet. You know that's how I want to go. Let the worms feast on me. What's left of me.
Well, I just think whatever's left of me, I want put in a nice spot where people can go and have a picnic, come and talk to me if they want to talk to me or whatever. I just want somewhere nice for people.
If you do something against my wishes, I will haunt you. And I will clank some change. You got no idea. I'll be like, clank, clank, and I'll go, woo, like that.
Okay, I don't want to be in charge of your funeral then.
Anybody can do it. I just said, donate what you can, burn the rest, or put me out to the pasture.
Yep.
That's it. Not naked, please.
Yeah, a little bit of dignity is alright.
Pluck my chinny hairs. Just kidding, I don't care about the chinny
They'll keep growing anyway, won't they, after death?
I don't know.
Anyway!
There's so many myths about things that happen once you die.
Yeah.
If you follow people on YouTube, if you're a YouTube watcher, go to Ask a Mortician.
Yeah.
Because she covers some amazing stuff. She does iconic corpses. She talks about all kinds of things. She's amazing. I love her.
And also...
I love her brain.
If you can find it, another way that got me used to the idea of death was Anatomy for Beginners, which used to be a TV show on SBS or ABC or something like that, if you can find it. And they deal with corpses on the show and show you how things work and stuff.
You know that German guy that does all the autopsy stuff?
He's probably from...
Well, there's a whole thing about him.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, he's fairly untoward.
Ooh.
The guy with the hat. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Anyways, we'll talk about it once the camera's shut down. But that's it. Decide what you want to do.
Yep.
Don't do anything because you feel like you have to do it.
Yeah.
You have tons of options.
Yep.
Chop your head off. Have them erect a statue of you. Put it in a little mini bar fridge underneath it. And you'll be like Walt Disney. Just don't be a racist about it. Like Walt Disney. Till then, don't die today.
Yeah, don't die today.
Unless you're ready to die. It's not the end of the world. It is for you, but...
But, you know, if you could get a few more episodes in, that'd be awesome before you go.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Don't forget, our future is at your dead little fingertips.
Mine rigor mortis is set in, so...
That's okay. Give it another 24 hours and it'll...
Relax back down again. Yeah, awesome. And also don't forget to click the bell icon at the top of the page to keep up to date with what we're doing. We're usually here every week.
Mug supplied by Nick. Oh, we gotta go!
Alright, see you next week. Bye!